Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be redoing the first of my Elemental Elf series that I did, I think it was about a year ago, and I'm doing the Earth Elf today, so if you'd like to see how I did it, just keep on watching. Starting off, I went in with the Coastal Scents Hot Pot in the shade Teal Green, using a Wet n Wild blending brush and then putting that right into my crease. And that is just a custom palette that I made that is filled with single shadows from Coastal Scents, and I really enjoy all of these colors. And I also ran that same color along my lower lashes, and I brought it down pretty far. Next, I went in with the Coastal Scents shade in Shamrock Green on the same brush, and I put that into my crease as well, and also ran that along my lower lashes. Then I went in with Coastal Scents Fresh Chive on an e.l.f. blending brush, which is a smaller blending brush, and this helps to keep it a little lower and a little more precise. And I just put that shade into my crease as well, and then also ran that along my lower lashes. Then I went back in with that Wet n Wild blending brush and made sure all of those colors were blended together. Then I went in with Coastal Scents Pinehurst on that same e.l.f. brush, and I put that into my crease as well, and along my lower lashes. This is a little repetitive, but I really wanted to make sure everything had a lot of depth and dimension to it. And then I used some concealer to carve out my lid. It's not quite a cut crease because I didn't go all the way out into the end of my crease, so it's more like a negative space cat eye appearance. Then, using that same brush, I went in with Coastal Scents Paris Green, and I put that all over the concealer I just laid down. Then I went into the Beauty Creations Butterfly palette and I took the shade Smoky Black on a very small e.l.f. concealer brush. And I wanted to make sure that that definition in between the matte and the shimmer was really defined. So I put just a small amount of that black along the edge, and I made sure I flicked it upward just to give it the smallest hint of depth, but didn't want it to go super black. Then I went into the Ccbeauty cream colored paint palette. I got this off of Amazon, and I went in with that gold shade, and I'm using that to outline this little negative, well, it's not negative anymore now that there's green in it, but this like cat eye cut crease effect thing that I have going on. And for that, I'm actually just using a standard small paintbrush. And here's me kind of giving you an idea of how it looks more up close so you can see the detail. And then for mascara, I went in with the Essence Lash Princess Mascara and coated my top and lower lashes. Then for bronzer, I went in with the Wet n Wild Color Icon Bronzer and Ticket to Brazil. And I used the Wet n Wild Fluffy Angled Face Brush to bronze up my cheekbones. Then for blush, I went in with the Jordana blush in the shade Sweet Honey, and I used the Aesthetica P12 brush to blush up my cheeks. And then for highlight, I went in with the Ofra Rodeo Drive highlighter, and I used the Wet n Wild Unicorn highlighting brush to highlight my cheekbones, my cupid's bow, the tip of my nose, and the bridge of my nose. Now for the really fun part, I went in with the Wet n Wild Neutrals paint palette, and I took that darker brown shade, and then I outlined kind of these vine designs on the left side of my face. And then first I just went in with a simple basic sketch just to have an idea of where they were all going to go. And so I think it was about a year ago that I first did this series, and I mean, at the time I really liked it, but then I really wanted to amp it up a notch and then redo it. I'm actually going to be redoing quite a few series that I did previously and then adding a few more as well. I've just been really in a reading slump recently, which has made my series Looks and Books kind of just fall to the wayside at the moment. I am going to be continuing to do that, but nothing's really caught my attention to read. So once I get the spark back for that, I'll probably do some more in that series. But then for right now, I'm just doing these makeup series, which I'm actually really enjoying. And that way I could still give you guys 3 videos a week instead of just the 2 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So then using more of that dark brown, I just went in and I really defined those lines that I created, making some of them thick, some of them thinner. Next, I went in with the Wet n Wild Brights paint palette, and I took that green, and I started to make my leaves. And I mean, it's probably not the most creative thinking in the world, but I was like, oh, Earth Elf, let's put some plants on me. So then I had went back into that Wet n Wild Neutrals paint palette, and I took that darker green shade that is in there, and I put it on the leaves where the shadows would be cast. And that helps to give them a little more depth, like no way is this actually going to look super realistic. I was running out of time near the end, my daughter was getting fussy. So then going back into the Neutrals paint palette, I took that lighter brown shade and I'm highlighting those vines that I created. And then going back to that Ccbeauty paint palette, I took that white shade and I started highlighting the leaves. So I'm just pretty much putting that white on the opposing side where I put that dark green, and then if I put a little too much, I just blend it out with my finger. And then going back into that Beauty Creations eyeshadow palette, I took the shade Secret Eye on the Aesthetica angled brush, and I'm putting this where the shadows would cast from the plants onto my face. So that is just to give more of an illusion that the plants are more three-dimensional. I mean, they're not obviously perfect, but just to kind of looks like have it look like that it's resting on my face, so it's casting a shadow downward onto my skin. And then taking the shade Milk Chocolate on the same brush, I'm putting that in the same areas where I put that lighter brown, but I'm making sure that I'm keeping it more precise and not blending it down too far, just so it gives it more dimension and depth in the shadows. And then finally for lips, I went in with the Wet n Wild Liquid Catsuit in the shade Emerald City. And that completes this look. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below which element you'd like to see next. Subscribe if you aren't already, and I'll see you in my next one.